Hello, everyone. Thank you for attending OCBC's Spring OHIGAN Seminar for 2021. This session will be in English. If you are looking for the Japanese language session, please find the link on our website, ocbuddhist.org. Dr. Haneda has prepared a written handout to help you follow the lecture. The handout can be downloaded also from ocbuddhist.org. Our speaker, Dr. Nobuo Haneda, is director of the Maeda Center of Buddhism in Berkeley. When he was a college student in Tokyo, he was inspired to study Buddhism through his encounter with the writings of Shuichi Maeda. He assisted in the project to publish Maeda's complete works in Japanese. Thereafter, Haneda Sensei came to the United States, initially studying at the Buddhist Temple of Chicago. He went on to earn a PhD at the University of Wisconsin. He has published English translations of Maeda's writings and the writings of Manshi Kiyozawa. Dr. Haneda's own essays appear in the Dharma Breeze newsletter and in his book of the same title. He teaches a weekly online class from the Maeda Center, and he has been a frequent guest speaker at BCA temples, including Orange County Buddhist Church. Sensei, welcome.
Okay, let's begin with the show. Namandautsu. Jim, thank you for introducing me. Good morning, everyone. It's a great honor for me to be invited to speak at your OHIGAN seminar. I hope all of you are fine. We've been having a terrible year since last March last year because of coronavirus. So many people have passed away, and I'm very sorry about that. Usually, I go to the Orange County Buddhist Church and speak to you personally, but this year I cannot do that. So I miss all of you at the temple. But thanks to modern technology, it's so nice that we can communicate with each other through Zoom. I've been staying indoors almost one whole year, and since I have a lot of time for myself, I've been growing a lot of vegetables in my vegetable garden. Last year when I started, I was an amateur vegetable grower, but now seems like I'm turning into an expert vegetable grower. Of course, you know, Reverend Bishop Harada is listening to me now, and of course he is a much better vegetable grower than I, and compared with him, I'm an amateur. But I love vegetable growing. So maybe in one of these days, I might change my specialty from Buddhist studies to vegetable farming. I'm just joking. I will never change my specialty, but anyway, it's such a fun to grow vegetable. Nice to see things growing, and but anyway. Today, I want to talk about the concept of Pureland as a symbol of a World of Dharma-Friends. This is kind of unusual topic, and I don't think you have ever seen this kind of topic, but let me read my introduction in the first page of my lecture. Okay, I hope all of you have this lecture. Okay, the Pure Land as a symbol of a world of Dharma-Friends. Okay, introduction. Why did the concept of the Pure Land, which the historical Shakyamuni did not teach, come into being about 300 years after his passing in Indian Mahayana Buddhism? So this is a question. So today I want to talk about why the concept of Pure Land came into being in Buddhist history. And Shakyamuni did not talk about it. And, about 300 years after his passing, this concept of Pure Land came into being. It came into being within in the tradition called Mahayana Buddhism. So Pure Land is a Mahayana concept. I think this concept of Pure Land is familiar to you. All of you who are listening to me now in this seminar are familiar with the concept of Pure Land because you belong to Jodo Shinshu temples. Okay? And Jodo Shinshu, okay? This word, Jodo Shinshu contains the word Jodo. And this Jodo means Pure Land. The Pure Land Shinshu is a Buddhist tradition that talks about the Pure Land and birth in the Pure Land. Although this concept, you are familiar with this concept of Pure Land, many non-Jodo Shinshu Buddhists do not know this concept. Some of those Buddhists never heard about this concept. For example, Zen people don't talk about this. Zen people don't talk about it, or Nichiren Buddhists don't talk about it. Or Buddhists in Burma, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, for them, Pure Land is a totally foreign concept. So naturally, the question arises: why did the concept came into being in Buddhist history? This question is an important one, so I want to discuss it. I believe that the Mahayana Buddhists came up with the concept of Pure Land to capture and explain the essence of Shakyamuni's teaching. After the passing of Shakyamuni, during the first several centuries, we have a Buddhist tradition called Hinayana. And the Hinayana Buddhism became a highly academic and monastic tradition. It became a lifeless tradition. So Mahayana Buddhism appeared in history in India as a reaction against Hinayana Buddhism, and Mahayana challenged the formalized and lifeless Hinayana tradition. So in order to revive the original lively teaching or dynamic teaching of Shakyamuni, Mahayana Buddhists created many new sutras, and they created many new concepts such as Amida Buddha, the Hongan, the original Vowel, and the concept of Pure Land. By creating these concepts, Mahayana Buddhists attempted to revive the original spirit of Shakyamuni. So I want to discuss the specific reasons why the concept of Pure Land came into being. Okay, then in order to discuss the reason the concept came into being, first, I must give you an outline of Buddhism or Jodo Shinshu. Then I will discuss the specific issue of the Pure Land within the framework of the outline I present. So in the first half of my lecture today, I will give you an outline of Buddhism or Jodo Shinshu. Then in the second half of my lecture, I want to get into the specific issue of the concept of Pureland. In order to give you an outline of Buddhism, I think it's best to start my discussion with a teaching that is known as the last message of Shakyamuni. This message is a very compact one and a very concise one, and it's very convenient for us when we talk about the outline of Buddhism. Okay, now part one, Shakyamuni's last message. Okay, let me talk about this last message of Shakyamuni. Please look at the outline, this outline of my lecture. I always, want you to follow this. I speak according to this outline. Okay. Immediately before Shakyamuni passed away, he said to his disciples, okay, he said these two statements, okay, do not rely on any human being, but rely on the Dharma. This means that the Dharma should be your guiding line. And do not rely on other things, but rely on the self. Okay. So the first sentence means that his Shakyamuni's disciples should not consider any historical human being an ultimate refuge, okay? And they should rely on the Dharma, truth. Shakyamuni is actually saying, you must consider the Dharma your refuge, and you should not consider me, a human being, your refuge. So when he talked about human being, he's referring to himself. Okay? Because his disciples so attached to him, okay, Shakyamuni. So he is cautioned. It is a Dharma that should be. It's not a historical human being who passes away. Okay? That's what he meant. Now let me explain the second sentence. Do not rely on other things, but on the self. This means that we should not rely on things outside us, things such as the mysterious power of a God or mysterious power of spirits. So this sentence also means that we should not rely on things such as ideologies or isms, dogmas, or thoughts. It means that we must discover the true self and we must rely on it. That's what it means. So as we can see from these two sentences, Buddhism basically talks about two things, Dharma and the self. I think it's very important to know this. Okay? We have so much information concerning Buddhism, so much information concerning Buddhist history and culture. It's all right to study those things, but it's so important to know that Buddhism basically teaches us two things, the Dharma and the self. We can say the same thing about Jodo Shinshu. Jodo Shinshu basically talks about two things, Dharma and the self. Shinran Shonin founded Jodo Shinshu in the 13th century Japan. It's like 17 centuries after the passing of Shakyamuni. In spite of the time difference, Shinran talks about twofold understanding. That means the understanding of the self and the understanding of the Dharma. And Shinran says twofold understanding is the core of Shinjin. So he says Shinjin is the most so important. So for Shinran, the Buddhism meant studying the Dharma and the self. So we can see throughout Buddhist history, we don't talk about other things except the Dharma and the self. So we can say Buddhism or Jodo Shinshu is a teaching that talks about two things. Buddhism is a teaching in which we examine the self by hearing the Dharma, by receiving the light of the Dharma. We clearly understand what we really are. That's what the Buddhism is all about. So now, let me move to the next section. And the two meanings, now I'll explain the Dharma and the self that Shakyamuni mentions. So first, the two meanings of the Dharma. The Dharma, the ultimate truth that is beyond the words. And the B, the Dharma's teachings, expedient means that guide us to the Dharmas. So let me. Buddhism, two things. Dharma and self. Now this A here, and see, this is the ultimate truth. In order to differentiate these, I spell this dharmas, small letter, and this plural form, dharmas. This is the D, capital D, and singular, the Dharma. This is the ultimate truth. And important thing to know is this is beyond the words. Then what is this ultimate truth more specifically? This refers to this world, this whole world. This is Dharma world. And we are part of it. We are part of it. We belong to it. And I spelled out the word here, Dharma. I didn't spell it out. Called Dharma Kaya or Dharma nature. But another, I like this word, originalness. Originalness. And what is originalness? This is life itself. See, you see, this world is life. It's a gigantic flow of life. See, it's a lively world in which we are living. So this is the original reality. That means we are kind of in a cocoon and going opposite way. But this is a dynamic reality moving this way. So we are going opposite way, but so this is the original reality, life itself, and we are being out away from it. We are forgetting it, creating our own kind of fabricated world. So we have to return to this. So this is the Buddhist teachers tell us this is the world. This world itself. Then this world is calling us. Come back to me. You belong to me. And see, come back to me. And you are forgetting us. Please come back to us. That's what this world is telling us. But since this world is beyond the words, the voice is inaudible. We cannot hear what it's saying. See? So that's what this world means. This is a world like life itself. And in a sense, this reality is so close to us, We belong to it and we are it. So we cannot objectively see it. If we can objectively see it, we can easily recognize it. But since we cannot objectify it because we are part of it, that's why it's very difficult to recognize it. But it's constantly calling us with a voiceless voice. Then it's impossible to understand, but it is, or it is. But fortunately, there are people, the teachers, our teachers. So this is the teachers. Teachers have words, teachings. So, for example, Shakyamuni originally lived like us, deluded way, but he was awakened to this world, and he came back to our world, okay? And he spoke about his experience. He could explain what this is all about, and he can tell us how we can get there. See, he has words, teaching. Teachers have teachings. This words, teachings is called dharmas, lowercase plural. Okay, so you understand. Okay? So these teachers are turning voiceless calling voice into audible voice. We can hear this. Okay? So that's a difference. And so this is called the expedient. Expedient means like a finger pointing at the moon, like a ferry boat, designed to carry us to this. See? So these are the means, but no way we are allowed to stay here. This is the means to get there. No matter how much love we have for this raft or boat, we shouldn't stay here, in this. We shouldn't make a fixed dwelling here. Okay? It's a means to be, and we must, this is going here. See? That's what this means. It's very important, but this is nothing that's why Shakyamuni said, Shakyamuni is one of these teachers. That's why he said, Shakyamuni, it's all right for you to use me to get there, but don't become attached to me. They don't make an ultimate refuge out of me. That's what Shakyamuni said. It's all right for you to use me with my words, but you are not allowed to stay with me, be attached to me. That's what it means. And so the Buddhism, when we say Dharma, has two meanings. And what we say in the Buddhist temple, I take refuge Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. I think when we say take refuge in three treasures, that is Buddha. Buddha means this teacher, historical teacher. Dharma means these words. And Sangha means our Dharma friend. Buddha's teachers, teachings, our friends. These are all of them are words, okay? Teachings, okay? Okay. It's not their personality or human qualities that are important. They are words, okay? Words. It's so fortunate that we have many teachers, friends, who gained insight in it and explained it with the words. Okay? But here, okay, now I explained the two meanings of the Dharma, but here we must be very careful, okay, very careful, because some people confuse these two things. Some people say, oh, I read 100 books on Buddhism, so I'm a good Buddhist. I know about Buddhism. No, reading 100 books doesn't make you a Buddhist. See? Because reading books is an academic effort. It's here. You are knowing about ideas, words, concepts. That doesn't make you a person who belongs here. See? So you have to be very careful, okay? These are for example, I can tell you, I love sushi, okay? As I'm sure most of you do. And see, I tell you, okay, best part of tuna is toro. Hontoro is so delicious, melt in my mouth. See, hontoro is the best. And the most, of course, it's very expensive. See, I can explain it. Oh, so delicious. That's what here. See, academic thing. See, information, description of this. experience. But that's totally different from actually eating it. Okay? Eating it. See, that's the difference, big difference actually. Knowing about the recipe is one thing, okay, academic, but making a dish and eating it is another thing, okay? So you have to know the differences. We always talk about Jodo Shinshu or Nembutsu, Shinjin, Hongan. Yeah, these are all words. But don't think understanding those concepts intellectually does not mean you are living those concepts, okay? The living counts, see? Experiencing counts, okay? So I emphasize this, okay? Many people confuse this, okay? Academically knowing is one thing, but actually living it is totally another, okay? Okay, now I explain the self, not the Dharma. Now I move to the self part, okay? Self, and here, let me read this, okay? Bottom of page 1. The self, the Buddhism talks about 2 types of self, okay? The ego self, that self that we usually identify as a self, okay? And the B, the true self, the latent self that we are not aware of having, okay? And so here, now self side, okay? It's more complicated here, this side, okay? Self side is more complicated because this, you know, this and this go in the same direction, but self side is more complicated because this A self here, ego self, and this true self, this is the latent here, okay? This is the B self. True self, this is the ego self. This is the true self, ego self, true self. This is going this way, opposite direction of the Dharma, and this is going this way. See? And this is part of this reality. See? This is the self as life itself. Life itself. This, see? And see, and I as I mentioned here, see that we usually think this is the only self we know. See? And we never realize, see? We are not aware that we have this self, latent self. Yet this is the self yet to be discovered. Okay, so Buddhism talks about these 2 types of self. It's very important. Okay, so and we call this the ego self. This is the true self. But see, since we have only this self, we don't know this is the ego self. Only the person who is outside, okay, Buddhas can see 2 types of self. But for us who are inside this cocoon, okay, we no idea. This is the only self. So we think this is the good and the decent self, okay? And we have no doubt about it. See? So that's the self we have. Okay, so anyway, and this self creates this cocoon, okay, and we are living within this cocoon. This is, and we don't think we think we are creating cocoon, but here again, seen from the eyes of our teachers, Buddhas, we are in the cocoon. The person within the eggshell or cocoon does not know he is inside the cocoon or eggshell. Okay, that's how we are existing initially. Okay, so here let's go to page 2. Okay, page 2. Here, top of page. So the Buddhism is the outline of Buddhism is that this calling voice is challenging us and break this shell and actually this is the shell, okay, and liberate this. Okay? So the Buddhist is like gradually this boat turning around, okay, turning around like this. This is Buddhism. And finally here, See, through the help of these the words of our teachers, these words help us, and we hear them, and eventually this is awakened. Okay, so this shell is broken, this shell is broken, and this start to turn around direction. Okay, so this is what Buddhism is all about. Okay, I think this is the outline of Buddhism. Okay, okay. Now let me further explain this two worlds. I explained this world of self, world of the Dharma here. Okay. Now page 2, part 2. Okay. The two worlds, the world of the ego self and the world of the Dharma, ultimate truth. Okay. So here, the world of ego self. Okay. I compare it a cocoon. Okay, cocoon. And let me read the first, A and B. Okay, A and B. The basis of the world of the ego self, attachment to human wisdom, dualistic wisdom. Human wisdom that we regard as human wisdom that we regard as wisdom is actually ignorance, seen from the eyes of the Buddha. On the basis of human wisdom, we established fixed plus and minus values according to our likes and dislikes. So, okay, this is how Buddhism explains this world. Okay, so we are going opposite way. Okay, so we are ignorant. About this right direction, this Dharma, this everything moving and changing, dynamic flow of life here. But we, by using this human wisdom, this direction, okay, this means human wisdom, dualistic wisdom. Okay, that means that we are ignorant about this truth. So we use our dualistic thinking, plus, minus. Okay, and we make all these fixed values, plus values and minus values, according to our likes and dislikes, good, evil, right and wrong, pure, impure, happiness, suffering, nirvana, samsara. We divide everything. What like old age, sickness, death, youth, health, life, we love. So we want these fixed values. We want to eliminate these values. Okay, this is how we live. Okay, so because of ignorance, we become attached. This attachment, and this is called greed. Greed. When we have these plus values, we want more values, plus values. This is endless. $100, $500, $1,000, $10,000. This is. But when this plus turns into minus, that happens. Life is impermanent. So then we have this anger. See? So Buddhism has these three concepts. These are called three poisons. So because of ignorance, and we have greed, and because we have greed, attachment, when things gets lost, anger. This is our life, cyclic life. So Buddhism explained our human existence, world of samsara, using these three concepts. Okay, so anyway, that's what I explained here. So here, I am talking about this dualistic wisdom. Okay, but here we must be very careful. Okay, dualistic wisdom itself is nothing wrong. Okay, dualistic thinking is nothing wrong. We have to use it. It is indispensable human life. We say, oh, today is a nice day. The opposite is a bad day. Oh, this is so delicious, good, in contrast to bad. Okay? Without using this dualistic wisdom, we cannot even talk anything. Okay? So dualistic thinking or wisdom itself is nothing wrong. But the problem is, as soon as we use dualistic thinking, we fix ideas, fixing ideas. And we think, oh, this should be this way. This shouldn't be that way. See? So this should be here. I love my life. My life should be here forever. See, that's attachment. That's a fixation. See, that's wrong. Okay, so it's so not so much the dualistic thinking itself as the attachment to it that is the problem. Okay, this is very important to know. And now, middle of page 2. Okay, when we gain plus values, I already discussed, deepen our greed and hungry demon. This is the hungry demon, and anger is hell. This is the ignorance. This is the hell. I'm sorry, this is animal, hungry demon, and hell. Okay, that and we keep on dreaming one plus dream after another. This is called the endless cycle of samsara, the endless cycle of birth and the death of our dreams. Okay, I want to explain this when I explain the E. This world is characterized by the meaninglessness of life and the loneliness. Okay? This world is characterized by the meaninglessness of life. So this E is very important, okay? So I want to spend some time explaining it, okay? And I explain D when I explain this E, okay? This, the section E that I'm going to discuss is very important section as far as our discussion on Pureland is concerned, okay? So let me talk about it. And so in discussing this E, okay, this life is the world of samsara. This is the world of suffering. Okay, this is the world from which we have to be liberated. That's what Buddhism teaches. Okay, so Donran, in the following section, I have a passage from Donran's writing. Okay? This Donran's writing is very important here in connection with our theme of our discussion today. Okay, so here, okay, I want to read. I want to read this Donran's passage. Okay, and Donran talks about these two things: loneliness in human life and meaninglessness of human life. Two things in this passage, I think. So anyway, but before I talk about this, read this passage, let me explain who Donran was. Okay, Donran, as I mentioned here, is the third Shin patriarch. Okay, he wrote commentary on the Pureland treatise. Okay, he wrote commentary on the Vasubandhu's Pureland treatise. Okay? Vasubandhu is the second Jodo Shinshu patriarch. Okay, and so the second patriarch wrote a text called Pureland treatise. And Donran's main writing, the third patriarch, okay, Chinese patriarch, he wrote commentary on the second patriarch's writing. Okay. And the first patriarch's name is Vasubandhu. Okay. Vasubandhu, his Chinese name is, or Japanese pronunciation is Ten Jin. Well, this could be pronounced Shin. Okay, Ten Shin, Ten Jin, or Shin, same character. And Donran's name is Donran's name is Donran. Okay, so as you see, Shinran Shonin's name comes from here, from second and third patriarch. So that shows that Shinran's entire teaching, Shinran's teaching is based upon these two teachers' teachings. Okay, to that extent, Shinran honored this teacher, and he made up his name out of this. So see, Shinran. Some people said better. It's a good thing that Shinran did not pick up these two. Then this will be Tendong. Tendong, and but I'm kind of joking, okay. But anyway, Shinran's name. So see, so important. So this passage is. See, if you read this passage, you understand how important this passage was for Shinran Shonin too. Okay, now let me read. Okay, the reason. Okay, this is Tanran's words. Okay, Tanran's words. The reason the Buddha Amida originally awakened his Hongan aspiration to create the pure land that is adorned with virtue of purity, so-called we call the pure land, was as follows. Buddha saw that the three worlds, that the deluded world, that the world of desire, world of form, the world of formless, had a mark of emptiness, emptiness and falsehood, the mark of samsara, cyclic transmigration, and the mark of endless suffering. Sentient beings in three worlds were like inchworms walking in a circle, or like silkworms spinning themselves into cocoons. Thus the Buddha said, Amida Buddha said, how miserable they are. They are bound in the three worlds that are characterized by upside downness and impurity. So I want to transfer them to a place that is not characterized by emptiness and falsehood, by cyclic transmigration, and by endless suffering. They will be eventually receive a place of happiness, peace, and great purity. It is for this reason that Amida Buddha awakened his aspiration to create the land that is adorned with the virtue of purity. See, this is talking about the reason why Amida Buddha wanted to create the Pure Land. This is directly connected with the theme of our discussion today. Okay, so here I want to talk about these interesting examples he gives in this. Okay, and I underlined, underscored that page 3, starting from the 4th line. Okay. Sentient being the three worlds were like inchworms walking in a circle, or like silkworms spinning themselves into cocoons. Okay, so let me explain this symbolic way of talking about the misery of human beings in this cocoon. Okay, first, okay, this actually I spelled out on the previous page. Okay, previous page. Okay, bottom of page 2. Okay, first one is the meaninglessness of life. Sentient beings are like inchworms walking in. And the next one, okay, 2. I misspelled it. Instead of meaninglessness, this should be loneliness. Okay, number 2, the loneliness instead of mean loneliness of life. Sentient beings are like silkworms spinning themselves into cocoons. Okay, so yeah, let me. I love this symbolism. Okay, symbolism. So here first, this inchworm. Okay, inchworm. So here, this inchworm. Inchworm. suppose there is a intrum, and on top of this round barrel, okay, and this intrum is a very hard worker, okay? Diligent person, not person. It's a diligent insect, and he is walking on this path, okay? Believing he is on the straight path. So he believes every step of the way he is making progress. But as you can see, he is not standing on the path, straight line. He is on the round, see, the top. So naturally, he goes back to the point where he started. See, this is a very sarcastic way of talking about human beings. Dharma is asking, aren't you any different from this insect who is going around and around and around? See? When I read this, then this is how I've been living in my life. My life been nothing but a cycle, and this is called samsara. Samsara. Samsara means endless cycle of birth and death. Endless cycle of birth and death. Why do we have this word birth and death? Okay, now let me explain. Okay, I think we've been having all kinds of dreams. We've been pursuing all kinds of dreams, one after another in our lives. Okay, for example, when we're kids, we dreamed about entering nice high school. It's a dream. Okay, and we enter the nice high school, then the dream about nice high school disappears. Then we have another dream, okay? And I want to enter such a wonderful university. When you enter it, then I dream university disappears, okay? And then you have another dream after that. Oh, I want to be employed by such a nice company. Oh, that's a nice company. See, dream company. This way, see, like this insect, one dream, dream, and if you get there, this disappears, see, minus, disappears, minus. Then, see, then high university, then after this dream, another dream born, nice company. When you enter it, it disappears, and after that, what kind of dreams did you have? Oh, nice marriage. See, nice marriage. Now, do you marry a dream person? Okay. Sometimes turns out to be a real dream person, but sometimes doesn't. Okay. In your case, maybe you have a nice dream person, but it doesn't matter. Okay. This way, dream is born and disappears, and dream is born, disappears. So that's what it means. An endless cycle of birth and death of our dreams. Okay, our life is cyclic. And then after you get the goal, you think about nice retirement. Oh, if I retire, I'll be nice. I'll be happy. See, dream about nice retirement. But when you retire, life doesn't change so drastically. And see, so you have another dream after that. The last dream we could have in our lives is dream about life after death. See? But this is an endless cycle of deludedness, dreaming something wonderful in the future. Buddhism tells us, stop doing that. Get out of this endless cycle. Okay? That's what Buddhism teaches. This Dharma exists only here and now. Okay? Something wonderful does not exist in the future or life after death. See? But anyway, so you understand. See, this is what the Dharma means: meaninglessness of life. Meaninglessness of life. See? To liberate people from the meaninglessness of life, cyclic life. Amida created the Pureland. Pureland is the place where we have this path. Taking step by step is the advancing toward the goal. That's what the Pureland is all about. And next symbolism here is this, this, okay. This is the inchuam, okay, inchuam. He talks about this inchuam, okay. This inchuam starts to spin this silk and it works hard, okay. Okay. See, and the more work, the harder this work, the thicker this shell becomes, cocoon becomes. See, Dharma is sarcastic about human beings until like this cocoon, okay? Oh, you sought to be famous, to rich and famous. You made so much effort to be famous, to be rich, and believe by doing so, you have nice, wonderful, many friends, Dharma friends, not the friends, and you have nice, happy life. That's why you strove so hard to be rich and famous. But on the contrary, see, it often happens that the more famous you become, the more lonely you become, more isolated, the more wealthy becomes, the less friends you have. See? So like this, but through this effort to have friends or to be happy, through that effort, this silkworm is secluding itself in a thick shell. And loneliness. See, this is another tragedy in this world. See, meaninglessness of life and the loneliness of life. So Dharma is saying Amida created a place where people have friends. See, that's what this symbolism is talking about. Okay, so this is a kind of interesting example. And okay, now I think I explained all of this. Okay, so now let's move to this middle of page 3. Okay, so I gave you this description concerning what the world of the Dharma is all about. Okay, this is I don't spend much time here. Okay, the world, this side, this is, I already kind of explained what these worlds are. This is the world of the Buddha's wisdom, okay, non-dualistic wisdom. So all things, see, pluses and minuses seem to have both meanings. Okay, and this is the world of non-dualistic wisdom, okay? World of equality. And this is a world in which all the existing things are manifesting life. We feel oneness with all existing things, okay? Like everything we carefully see. All things are interdependent. Okay? All things are manifesting life. We are part of it. It's a very rich world. Okay? And see the world in which all existing, both animate, inanimate things are part of the dynamic flow of life. This is the world that is dynamically flowing, moving, and changing. Okay, this is a very dynamic world. This is the opposite. Okay, everything is fixed. Okay? We live on the basis of attached values. Okay. Okay, now let's go to the part 3. Okay, this part 3 is the most important part of it. And so far we've been preparing ourselves to this part 3. Okay, and part 3, how can we move from the ego self to the true self? How can you realize true self? Be born in the world of the Dharma, the Pureland. Okay, and preface I mentioned here. Okay, according to Shinran, we are born in the world of the Dharma, here, Pureland, when Amida's 3 vows, he called these 3 selected vows, primary vows, are fulfilled in our lives. These 3 vows are 17, 18, and 11. Okay, so the largest sutra is the basis of the Jodo Shinshu tradition, and the largest sutra has a story in which a young seeker by the name of Dharmakara becomes Amida Buddha. In the story, Dharmakara makes 48 vows, and he fulfills all of them and become a Buddha by the name of Amida Buddha. So as we saw in the Danlan's passage, Amida desired to create the Pureland, and those 48 vows are all designed for creating the Pureland. And Dharmakara desired to liberate all people by making them attain birth in the Pureland. And according to Shinran, out of 48 vows, 3 vows are particularly important. Important for our liberation. I said, 11, 17, 18. Okay. Shinran called this the selected primal vows. Three selected primal vows. Okay. Honen said only 18th vow is a selected primal vow, but in contrast to Honen, his teacher, okay, Shinran said three primal vows. Okay. And these 3 vows talk about human liberation. And the Shinran says when he met his teacher, Honen, these 3 vows are fulfilled in his life. And that was his liberation, a very important vow. And so Shinran tells us, if these 3 vows are fulfilled in all of us, that means we are being liberated. So as far as Shinran's teaching is concerned, these 3 vows are the most important things. And whether these vows are fulfilled in our lives or not is the most important issue in Buddhism, as well as in our lives. Okay, and Shinran says meeting with his teacher was so important. Okay, his meeting with when he met his teacher, these 3 vows are fulfilled, and he was so happy about it, and that's why he wrote his main work called Kyogyo Shinsho. Kyogyo Shinsho, and so I believe there's a passage. Okay, this is a passage. If you look at the last page of the material, okay, or page 6, okay, page 6. Towards the end of page 6, I have this material, the 3 vow fulfillment passage. Okay? This is about 10 lines. Okay? This 10-line passage is the basis of Shinran's writing. Okay? Shinran's Kyogyo Shinsho, his entire doctrine is based upon these 10 lines. Okay? These 10 lines talks about the fulfillment of 3 vows. Okay, I will explain these 3 vows respectively later. But this I want you to know. Okay, this is the most important part of the talk. This is the basis of Shinran's writing. I believe Shinran's writings, all his writings, are nothing but commentary on these 10 lines here. Okay, starting on this. Middle of page 6 to the end of the materials. Okay, so okay, here before I get into these 3 vows, okay, let me explain what this fulfillment of these vows means. Okay, I've been saying, okay, Buddhism is teaching about nothing but Dharma and self. Okay, and this Dharma, Dharma A, B. This Dharma B, this is the 17th vow. Okay? 17th vow. 17th vow talks about our teachers and their words. Okay? Now, these are historically fulfilled, realized. There are 7 patriarchs, and their teachings, words. And see, this is 17th vow, realized. Dharmas are realized. Okay? And among these words, the most important thing is Namu Amida Butsu. Okay? This is a calling voice saying, see, come, come, come. Imperative says Namu. Namu means come. Amida Buddha means Dharma, to Dharma. Dharma. See? Nama means it's an imperative sentence, okay? Command is in myself. So the 17th vow realize means that there are historical teachers and their teachings, particularly this one voice, calling voice, come to the, or return to the Dharma. This is the 17th vow, okay? And then what happens to us? This is addressed to us. Then we we hear this. Initially, we are indifferent to it, but the more hearing of the Namadavs, their words, gradually, see, this inside us, this start to be awakened. Initially, we don't think we have it, but see, gradually, this turning around. See? And when we hear enough and our hearing matures, then see, this turn around, this turning is realized, and from within us, something unknown to us. This is the true self, or Dharma self. See? This is called the Shinjin. See? This is born. See? This is born. See? This is fulfilled. This 18th vow is fulfilled. 18th vow is called the arising of Shinjin, vow of Shinjin. Okay? Then what happened is that this is the true self, and the shell is broken, and see this gradually turn around like this. Okay? See this direction, this Shinjin start to grow. See, grow by itself. See, this is the power of the Buddha that start ignited in us, and this start leads our life. Okay? No, this ego self is no match for it. Okay, this is so powerful. So our life is becomes so dynamic, and the arising of this is called birth in the Pureland. This is a Pureland, okay, birthing, and this starts to grow. And when we die, we fulfill our human life. We complete our human life. This is called 11th vow. Okay, so 17th vow refers to the calling voice, okay, representing Dharma, and the 18th vow representing self, true self. Okay.
Hello, Sensei. We lost your video picture. We can hear you, but we lost the video picture. There we go. Okay. We can fix that later with editing. That's fine. You could.
Okay. So anyway, this is awakened. Okay. This is the most important part of Jodo Shinshu. Okay, awaken the Shinshu. We cannot awaken this by ourselves because it's beyond our ego self. Okay. Only the word, power of the words, dharmas can awaken this. It's so for us, hearing alone is important. Okay? Once this is awakened, this starts to go. If I give you a simple example, this is like medicine. Okay? Medicine is completed, fulfilled, realized. Then this is taking medicine. Even if medicine is there, if we don't take it, we don't have any effectuality. Okay, so this is medicine is ready, given to us. Then we take it, and then this is a sign of health coming out immediately, and this is the process of recovery. Okay, this is what Buddhism is all about. Okay, so when I said 17th vow, 18th vow, 11th vow, I'm sure some of you are puzzled. Wow, that's beyond my head. That's so technical, so academic. Well, nothing so difficult, okay? This means Shinra met home and Shonin, and new awareness came out, and this new awareness changing true self took over his life, and his life became so powerful, meaningful. That's what he's talking about. Okay? So Shinra called this is the teaching of Rajya Sutra. This is the teaching, Kyo. Kyo means teaching. And this is Gyo. This is Kyo. Gyo. And this is Shin. And this is the Sho. See? So kyogyo shinsho. Okay? Teaching practice. Practice means doctor's practice. Okay? Namandabutsu is practice given to us. Okay? Kyogyo shinsho. Teaching, practice, shinjin, and realization. Okay? Attainment of Buddhahood, eventual attainment of Buddha. See? Nothing complicated. The Shinra is talking about his own experience of meeting with the teacher. By meeting a teacher, listening his words, Namamida Butsu. See? Everything in his life was resolved. And he was born into such a wonderful world. See? That's what Shinra is talking about. So I think it's easier for you, if I given you this outline. Okay, so Shinra's teaching is very experiential. Okay, very experiential. Okay, now let me discuss these three vows respectively. Okay, bottom of not bottom. It's okay. Bottom of page 3. Okay, start from the 17th vow. So from outside the cocoon, our historical teachers such as Shakyamuni and the 7 patriarchs are calling us. This is a realization of 17th vow. Teachers are there, their words are there. So the vow, 17th vow is called the vow that all the Buddhas say the name. It's the name of the vow. All the Buddhas, the Shakyamuni, 7 patriarchs are challenging us by saying Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu is a command. Come out, come to Buddha's wisdom, come to the Dharma. Okay, now let me read. Okay, the top of page 4. Okay, when our historical teachers see us suffering in our cocoons, they feel sorry. They awaken deep compassion for us. Because they once was in this and came liberated. So they could see how miserable we are here. That's why they feel great compassion. Okay? Sorry, feel sorry and great compassion. So that's the process. Okay, and Buddha knows everything in human life is difficult, and he feels great compassion. Then they can all. Our teachers, okay, historical teachers can see the true self that is latent in our minds. They know that although we are constantly attached to ego self, we have a latent aspiration to have the ego self negated and transcended. See, so the Buddhas can see this aspiration. Okay? We cannot see. Okay? Ego self cannot recognize this true self. Okay? It's a true self is a kind of enemy for the ego self. It is dangerous for the welfare of the ego self. Okay? True self, if true self is realized, the ego self is challenged. Okay? So anyway, so so here, okay, the Buddha, only the Buddha knows, okay, or can see this. This only the Buddha can see this. That's why it says, all Buddhas know the universality of Buddha nature. See, Buddha, you heard the word universality of Buddha nature. See, only Buddha knows that. Okay, we deluded people can never know. All people have Buddha nature. We cannot know we have Buddha nature or Shinjin. Okay, only Buddha knows it. See, so don't confuse this. Okay, only the Buddha knows that all humanity has Buddha nature or Shinjin, so they can liberate it. They know how to do it. Okay? So it's called Buddha's insight into the universality of Buddha nature. Okay, see, okay, they know, our teachers know that we cannot solve the most important problem in our lives. See, we know. Many desires, ego self want. See, I want this, I want this, plus, see, we know very well our desires, ego's desires. But see, for us, deepest desire is totally unknown. So even if we achieve the highest status or the greatest wealth, you see, we could have an uneasy feeling. Maybe I'm lacking something. Something is missing. See, so people cannot really identify the deepest wish they have. Human existence is very contradictory or strange because see, we are seeking for happiness, but we don't know what is our true happiness. See? And we know our desires, wishes, but we don't know the deepest aspiration we have. See? Unless awaken in us, we don't know what that innermost aspiration, OHIGAN, is. See? That's human existence is very paradoxical. And strangely, okay, we love our ego self, but see, deeply at the bottom, at the basis of our mind, we have desire. We have desire to have our ego self negated and transcended. See, that's paradoxical. That's strange. See, we seek for ego's happiness all the time. See, thinking about it all the time, but deep within our heart, see, we have desire that desires to have our ego self negated and transcended. That's why Buddhism is important, and the Buddhist teachers knows how to liberate this latent desire. Okay, so anyway, so now see, okay, they know that, so they know they can solve the most important problem, or teachers can solve the problem of transcending ego self, that the ego self cannot break its own cocoon. They know the means. Our teachers know the means by which we can be liberated. The ego self just know how to enhance itself. No way ego self, this direction, can deny itself. Okay, and our teachers, okay, our teachers are calling to us, return to the ultimate truth, originalness. Your life, you belong to me. Come back to me. See, forget about the fabricated world you are cherishing. See? Come back to the true world to which you belong. See? This calling voice is Namu Amida Butsu. Namu is an imperative sentence. Return to limitless life, limitless life. That means Dharma. Return to the Dharma. Shinran calls this calling voice an absolute command. He says, Shinran, this is absolute command, imperative sentence. See, Namu Amida Butsu is something we hear. Okay, it is nothing we chant, or it's not the practice we perform. Okay, Namu Amida Butsu is the words we hear. No matter who says it, doesn't matter who says it. You say it or other people say it. Namu Amida Butsu is meant to be heard, not meant to be chanted. Okay, it is an imperative sentence coming from the sphere of the Dharma. Okay, so this Shinra called the absolute command that comes from the innermost aspiration of the Buddha. Okay, okay. Now I talked about this 17th vow, and okay, now this side, self side. Okay, then birth of the true self. Okay, fulfillment of the 18th vow. Okay, hearing the calling voice that comes from behind the cocoon, we start to doubt our lives that are based upon ego self. The highest wisdom we can gain in the cocoon is a realization the cocoon should be broken, but we cannot break it with the power of. See, so the highest wisdom in this cocoon is that, oh, something wrong with me. This cocoon should be broken. That's the highest wisdom. But knowing it is one thing, but ego self cannot break itself. Okay? That's the limitation of it. We can know about it, but we cannot actually have it negated by ourselves. Okay? Then we meet a teacher, historical Buddhas. Okay? It's so important. Okay? Amida Buddha says that. Shinran never says that. Okay? Shinran always said, okay? Our historical teachers are the actual content of Amida. our historical teachers are Amida Buddhas. Okay? This is seen as nothing mysterious, nothing abstract. Okay? So we meet historical teachers, and meeting teachers who embody the Dharma is the most important thing in our lives. Okay? What do you think is the most important thing in your life? See? Many people think, oh, achieving something in our life is something. Achievement, see? Like attaining degrees or statuses, seems to be very important. It seems to be the most important thing. But I must say, the most important thing in our lives is meeting. See? Meeting. What do we meet? Whom we meet in our lives is the most important thing. Don't you think so? See? Achievement or accomplishments. I'm not criticizing those things, or I'm not saying you shouldn't seek those things. Seeking them is okay, but what is the most important thing? It's not those things we accomplish. Meeting Dharma or the Buddha or teachers. That is the most important thing. Okay? When our ego self starts to hear our teachers' teachings, we initially misunderstand them because we understand their teachings that are based on non-dualistic wisdom by using our dualistic wisdom. Our calculating mind attempt to use their teachings for our self-expansion. So teachers trying so hard to give this teaching. But these teachings are based upon non-dualistic wisdom, Buddha's wisdom. In spite of that, as soon as we hear, we use this human wisdom. So we misunderstand these words. Initially, all of us misunderstand Buddhism because this is our only resources. We use human wisdom that is dualistic in order to understand the words that are based upon non-dualistic wisdom. See? So that this is a kind of terrible thing, like Shakyamuni said, see, don't rely on the other things, rely on the self. When this ego self hears it, oh, Shakyamuni says a very good thing. Oh, rely on the self. Oh, this self. Oh, I should rely on this self. See, immediately we misunderstand. See, because this is the only self we know initially. See, when Shakyamuni says, Pureland, you have happiness, then this ego says, oh, Pureland is a place where I don't have any negative things, no suffering there. But see, happiness, Shakyamuni means Pureland happiness. Happiness here means you are able to appreciate both pluses and minuses equally. See? You can find meaning in minuses, positive meaning in negative things. That's the happiness Shakyamuni is talking about. But as soon as here the word happiness, Pureland is a place of nice climate and nice place we meet our beloved ones there. See, just we project our wishful ideas. See, we immediately misunderstand Buddhism. Okay, so hearing the words of the Buddha, our teachers, as they are, is not easy. Okay, we are so easy to misunderstand. Initially, all of us misunderstand Buddhism. Okay, so here, they are calling us with an. Oh, I'm not sorry. This is when our ego starts we misunderstand. Okay. D. Our teachers, however, keep on directing their teachings to the true self, not to the Buddha knows. They knows that people are initially misunderstanding words. So, in spite of the fact that Buddha knows that his words are misunderstood, he keeps on addressing himself. The teacher addressed himself to this self. It is hoping this could be awakened. And in the fullness of time, the cocoon is broken, and to self is born. This is called the awakening of Shinjin. It's we have to keep hearing, even if we don't understand it. It's natural that Buddha's wisdom is profound. It's natural that we don't understand it. Even though we don't understand, we must keep on hearing and hearing. When time comes, shell is broken. This shell, acorn shell is broken, and this sprout starts to come out. See? That this is, and the passage that talks about this is, I want you to look at the page page 7, okay? Last page of the material. Okay, this is the fulfillment of the 18th vow. These first 3 lines here. Okay? These are the these 3 lines are the most important part of this 3 vow fulfillment passage. Okay? All sentient beings, as they hear the name that is being said by all Buddha Tathagatas, realize even one thought moment of Shinjin. Okay? As they hear the name, Shinjin, this cocoon is broken, and this comes out. See? This is the passage. This is the most important passage. Nembutsu and Shinjin. Namandabutsu and Shinjin. That's what Shinjin talks about. Okay, now let's go to page 5. Okay. Now, 11th vow. Okay, the true life begins. True life begins, and we eventually fulfill our lives when we die. The fulfillment of the 11th vow. The vow. This vow is called the vow of necessary attainment of nirvana, Buddhahood. Okay, necessary. So, being liberated from a lonely world, we are born in a world where we can have many teachers and Dharma friends. See? So 11th vow, I want you to look at the 11th vow in the material. Okay. Material page 5. Oh, I'm sorry. 6, page 6. Okay, 11th vow. Okay, now we are talking about 11th vow. Okay, it's a vow of necessary attainment of nirvana. Okay, this vow talks about the people in the Pure Land. Okay, if we attain Buddhahood, that human beings and devas in my land do not dwell among the settled and necessarily attain nirvana, may not attain the supreme enlightenment. So Dharmakara is saying, okay, my land, Pure Land is such that all people in my land are the people who are called the settled, or sometimes called truly settled. Okay, truly settled. So this world, okay, this 11th vow, okay, this means birth in this Pure Land, okay, Pure Land. This is the world of the truly this means the people. Okay? So this Pure Land is a place that has many people who are assured of attaining Buddhahood. Okay? So truly settled. Okay? These are the people. These are Dharma people, Dharma friends. So the Pure Land is a place where we have Dharma friends. Okay? These are plural. Okay? So this is very important. Okay? This is very important. In contrast to this place where we don't have any friends. Shinda said, this world is a place we have only evil friends, no true friends. There are many people who pretend to be good friends, but there's no true friend in this world. But when you are born into pure, first thing you experience is meeting with Dharma friends. See, this is the content of 11th vow. Okay, 11th vow. And then next one, and we haven't read that A. Okay, being liberated from a lonely world, we are born in the world where we can have many teachers and Dharma friends. And I mentioned this phrase. Okay, this means that when we are born in the field, we join wonderful Dharma friends. And the wonderful fact about having Dharma friends in Pureland is that we receive encouragement from them in the Pureland. See, they are tremendous seekers. They are passionately seeking the Dharma. So their passion is contagious. And we cannot help but receive this passion. So we also become these continuous seekers. See? So see, we become dynamic seekers of the Dharma because we receive encouragement from many teachers and Dharma friends in the Pure Land. We can dwell in the stage of non-retrogression. See? So here, this word, this is the same word. Those are the people truly settled. Another word, those are people who are in the stage of non-retrogression. Those who are in the stage of non-retrogression. This means this is the life in which you become a perpetual seeker. You never go back to the old way, the fixed life. Then you are in the Dharma world and having wonderful people receiving their encouragement. Because of this encouragement, we can have this stage called non-retrogression. The 18th vow talks about it. Okay, here, that 18th vow fulfillment statement. When they are born in the Pure Land, they dwell in the stage of non-retrogression. See, 11th vow talks about this. This is something we receive here when we enter it. Then see this seeking, this changing, Dharmakara spirit keep increasing, okay, being realized. Then eventually when we die, okay, our life is completed. Okay? Our lives are dynamic seekers. I'm sorry, we become dynamic seekers. This means that we are, yeah, okay. Okay, so the skip the D, okay, let's go to E. See, our deepest aspiration becomes fulfilled. We complete our lives when we physically die. This is called attaining nirvana. See, 11th verse says, those who are born in Pure Land have friends who are assured of attaining Buddhahood and by receiving encouragement, we too become dynamic seekers, and eventually, see, all those who are born in Pure Land will attain nirvana. See, so this is called attaining nirvana, attaining parinirvana. That means becoming Buddha, becoming a Buddha. See? Word becoming a Buddha sounds so esoteric, and I usually don't want to use a word, but the goal of Buddhism is usually identified with becoming a Buddha. But becoming a Buddha or attaining nirvana means fulfilling our human life. Nothing special about it. See? All of us want our life to be fulfilled. We want our life to be completed when we die. See? We don't like a lukewarm death, our life, end of our life should not be karma. Karma is to be continued. That's not the way we should die. See? Parinirvana means complete combustion, fulfillment of human life. That's what the Buddhism teaches us. Unless you have the true beginning here, Shinjin, unless you have true beginning, you cannot have the true ending. True ending. having to ending, period, full stop in our life, is called becoming a Buddha. All of us want that. All of us want that. So that's what Buddhism. 11th vow talks about the importance of being born in Pure Land, having friends, receiving encouragement, and becoming part of these dynamically seeking people. Okay? And through this, we are able to fulfill our human life. That's what 11th vow is talking about. See? So now it's almost time, so I have to summarize. Okay? The topic of a discussion is actually this question: why did the concept of a Pure Land came into being? Okay? And Mahayanists came up with this concept because the Buddhism became so fossilized during the 3-4 centuries after the passing of Shakyamuni. So-called tradition called Hinayana. Those practitioners became highly complacent in their cocoons, in their religious cocoons. Okay? They are complacent, and they lost this passion of seeking, having friends and seeking the Dharma together with all sentient beings. Okay? Something was missing. Okay? Spirit started to become stagnant. So in order to recover the original teaching of Shakyamuni, vital teaching of the Shakyamuni, Mahayanists came up with the idea of the Pure Land. It's not a geographical place, okay? It's a spiritual world. Pure Land is a spiritual place where you have many wonderful Dharma friends. Having Dharma friends means that you are being liberated from this loneliness, aloneness here. See, that's one thing. And having friends means receiving encouragement from them. That receiving encouragement from them means that we become passionate seekers. We are the people who are in the stage of non-retrogressions. Our life is past, not the circle. This is, Donna said, this is the meaninglessness of endless cycle of the seeking classes, and classes that appear, disappear. The endless meaninglessness of life. In order to be liberated from that too, we have to be born into a place, Pure Land, where our life becomes a life of non-retrogression. Straight line, not the circle. Okay? So today I wanted to explain the reason why the idea of a Pure Land came into being. Okay? Because Pure Land is a place where we have friends being liberated from loneliness, self-centeredness. And another reason is that having friends, we are able to live our lives in such a dynamic way, creative way. See, our life becomes path. See, being liberated from the meaninglessness of life. I hope I explained the reason why the idea of Pure Land came into being. Okay. So many Buddhists, Pure Land is a foreign idea. It's natural that we should ask the question, why Pure Land? But anyway, I try to answer this question today. Okay, thank you for your invitation. And it's always so nice to talk with you. And Orange County is a place where I've been invited almost the last 20 years. And Bishop Marvin has been inviting me there, and I made so many nice friends there, and you've been a tremendous encouragement. Just like I discussed, without friends, without good Dharma friends, no way I can study the Dharma. Okay? The encouragement of friends, that's the most important thing in relationship. Okay? Thank you. Among others.
thank you so much, Sensei, for sharing these very important aspects of Shinran's teaching with us today. We're most grateful for that. At this point, we can, I think, ask a question or two, and if you and the group of attendees would like to say something, feel free to unmute. I'll ask one question, maybe to give others a moment to reflect on what they've heard. But Sensei, so the person who is born into the world of Dharma-Friends, is there something has, I think, as you've explained, something has changed irreversibly for that person. So you've said that they never go back to the old cocoon, but are they still at risk of finding themselves in a newly created cocoon of reverting to the wisdom that they relied on before? How should I understand that?
Yeah, that's a very relevant question, important question. Okay, in Buddhism, in particular in Shinran Shonin's teaching, attaining something is a wonderful thing. Okay, but attainment contains a tremendous danger. See? So that's what Shinran Shonin talks about. Actually, in another context in here, he talks about 3 vows, 19, 20, 18, 3 vows, process of becoming Shinjin person. Okay? The 19th vow is like a monk here, and 20th vow is Shinran as a Nembutsu practitioner, Jodoshu follower. Then 18th, this is the 18th Jodo Shinshu. Okay? Shinran talks about the 20th vow as a very dangerous place, because you meet a teacher, you receive Nembutsu, and you have faith. Oh, by chanting Namandabutsu, I'll be born in Pureland. See, this is attainment. But Shinran says, see, if you become attached to these ideas about Pureland as a place you go, or Amida Buddha as a kind of savior, and Nembutsu as a kind of practice, good practice you can perform. These are all attached ideas, Amida, Pureland, Nembutsu. See? So the attainment, okay? And these people, 20 years ago, believe, oh, now I'm saved. See, I'm going to attain Pureland. But Shinran says that is a very tremendous danger. See, meeting with a Nembutsu is okay, but see, thinking that you are a religious person, thinking that you are going to be born in Pureland, being saved, I mean, you are attached to these fixed ideas. That attainment is very dangerous. See, that's why the concept of Amida Buddha is so important. See, when you meet with the teachers, these teachers embody the spirit of Amida Buddha or Dharmakara. What is the spirit of Dharmakara or Amida Buddha? Limitless light. What does limitless light means? Limitless wisdom. What does limitless wisdom means? That means Dharmakara said, I will keep on seeking limitless wisdom from limitless number of teachers. See, there's no end to it. It's attainment. See, you have this attainment. Now I attain something. I realize I have to keep on seeking forever. See, this is my attainment. See, so the true attainment, Shinran says this true attainment, this is he called the provisional attainment. But true attainment is attainment in which you keep on transcending what you consider the goal or attainment. Okay? Endless, limitless light. Limitless light means that we must keep on seeking wisdom endlessly. This is attainment, okay? See? In a sense, this is the attainment of non-attainment. You understand it? The Mahayana Nirvana is a Nirvana, endless, eternal Nirvana. But Hinayana attainment is a Hinayana attainment or attained it, and I'm happy. See, you created this cocoon and you are complacently dwelling in it. See, that is this Shinra says, Nembutsu people, they think, oh, I'm a faithful chanta, practitioner of Nembutsu. And, oh, I'm going to Pureland. See, they are fixed, contained in such a tiny religious cocoon. Complacency there. And Shinran says, those Nembutsu practitioners are born in the womb palace. Womb palace. See, mother's womb. They are born into the palace of mother's womb. Very comfortable, nice and warm. Because all Buddhist ideas are their own, they are liking. See? My kind of Buddha, my kind of Dharma, my kind of Sangha. See? So you create all your kind of things, and you are born into that kind of Pure Land. See? That's attainment. But you are totally contained, see? Or secluded in a tiny cocoon of your liking, religious liking. See? That's a danger. Shinran cautions that. And Shinran say, I was liberated from that tiny cocoon of religious Nembutsu practitioner when I met Honen Shonin and received the spirit of Dharmakara that keeps on seeking wisdom forever. Okay? So it's very important. Okay? If you attain something tangible, that's a tremendous danger. Particularly, Mahayana criticized Hinayana people because Hinayana people, oh, I attained this the nirvana, I attained the selflessness. I'm so happy with it. See? I could die with it. It's totally secluded in religious cocoon of their liking. Okay? But Mahayana challenges that. That's why the idea of Pure Land came into being. I think it's a very relevant question.
Let's see, does that, anyone else attending wish to offer a question?
Oh, yeah,
oh, here's Satoshi. Did you have a question?
Oh, Satoshi is there. Hi. How are you?
There he is.
Yeah, well, I have a comment because I think I'm falling into that trap too. Because you think you're in a safe, settled world, and then you go off into your own dream world and you create your own ego world again, and you're thinking, whoa, you better stop. Or thank you for talking about it today because it helps me wake up again.
Yeah, if you are inside the cocoon, it's very difficult to know that you are inside the cocoon. There is a cocoon. So that's what it is. Okay, so we think we are decent. We never doubt our self is wrong one. We are trusted. No, so by listening to the Dharma, we gradually understand the self I'm trusting is not the right one. See, there's another deeper self that could be realized. It happens, that kind of realization happens only when we hear the Dharma. Okay? We have to be exposed to something foreign. Okay? Something foreign could awaken something in us that is foreign. Okay? So the easy mistake we make is that we just take in ideas we like. Okay? Oh, he's my kind of teacher. He complimented me, he praised me, he's my kind of good teacher. Okay? That's wrong. I like these teachings because these teachings matches my expectations. No, that's wrong. Okay? Hearing Dharma should hurt you. Okay? Teachers tell us hearing Dharma is no fun. No fun if you are being exposed to the true Dharma. Okay? But many people enjoy hearing the Dharmas because those Dharmas matches your expectations. Okay? That's another danger. Okay?
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't use the word Sangha when you mentioned when you're amongst in the 11th.
Oh, friends. Sangha means friends.
Yes, but you said friends, but you didn't say Sangha.
Oh, now I say. Friends means Sangha. Okay, Sangha.
Thank you.
You know, you must understand my situation now. I have 90 minutes to conclude everything. Okay, so
Okay, thank you.
10 minutes to cover the 11th vow. Okay, so if I had more time, I could have used the word Sangha. Okay, but you know, I'm glad you came up with that idea because the Pureland is Sangha. See? That's the article I wrote in the Dharma Breeze. See? If you read my article on what is Pureland, I said the Pureland is a Sangha.
Yeah.
That's where we have Dharma teachers and Dharma friends. That's why we have such a wonderful life. That's why birth in Pureland is called the liberation.
Yeah.
Having friends is our liberation. We are being liberated from our loneliness, from our self-centeredness. That itself, having friends is liberation. That's easy. We don't have to use a technical terms like attaining enlightenment, Shinjin, or birth in Pureland. Simply stated, having true friends. That's the goal of Buddhism.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But going through this process, how can we have true friends in this world? There are many people who pretend to be your good friends. Can you talk to someone about the life, the most important things about your life? No, they don't like you if you start to talk about the Dharma or things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Does anyone else have a comment at this point? Let me just observe, Sensei. It sounds like the world of Dharma-Friends has to be somewhat uncomfortable for us. You're saying that otherwise we fall into complacency.
No, you could say that, but the encouragement, nothing negative about the encouragement.
I see.
Maybe their words are harsh. They could criticize that because our friends are the communicator of the Dharma. See? Harshness or coldness, ruthlessness comes from the Dharma, not our friends. Okay? Simply because they appreciate the Dharma that is ruthless. Okay? Naturally, the embodiment of the Dharma cannot spoil us. Okay? In that sense, it is a kind of negative element about our friends because they are communicating the Dharma that is ruthless. But the friends themselves are encouraging us. Nothing negative about it. We kind of have this aspiration, passion, awaken.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Maybe anyone else have a final comment here?
Jim, let me ask a question. Haneda Sensei, it's Marvin.
Hi.
Yeah. You know, Akegarasu Sensei, in his lectures on the larger sutra, he talks about the larger sutra as Shakyamuni Buddha is trying to express his deepest, innermost heart of enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
But is that incorrect? We should regard it as a Mahayana Sutra expounded, 300 years later. How should we understand Akegarasu Sensei's way of looking at the larger sutra in light of Mahayana?
Of course, Akegarasu Sensei's view of Shakyamuni is Shakyamuni was a Mahayana teacher.
Oh,
Two Shakyamunis, okay? Two historical Shakyamuni. Akinawa Sensei knew Rajya Sutra was composed like 300 years or 400 years after historical Shakyamuni. It doesn't matter. See? Shakyamuni, any Mahayana Shakyamuni, the Mahayanists try to understand the essence of Shakyamuni, historical Shakyamuni, by formulating a Mahayana concept of Amida Buddha.
I see.
So the Mahayanists never thought they came up with new teachings. They tried to fathom. It took some time to fathom the depth of Shakyamuni's historical Shakyamuni's teaching. So the Mahayanists, it took for us 3 or 4 centuries to really grasp the essence of the historical Shakyamuni's teaching.
I see.
So Mahayanists, all Mahayanists knew, okay, Mahayana Sutras were not the direct teachings of historical Shakyamuni. They are attempting to come up with the expressions that capture the essence of the historical.
I see.
So
I see.
Mahayanists thought that the previous people, called Hinayana people, failed to grasp the depth of the historical Shakyamuni's teaching. And I didn't have time to talk about this, but if I have time, I want to talk about the differences between Christian literary tradition and the Buddhist literary tradition. In Christianity, the Bible is a divine message. You are not allowed to change it. You cannot change it. But in Buddhism, there's no divine message. There's no divine message. In Buddhism, all the literary traditions, things like sutras, were human efforts to fathom the depth of the Shakyamuni Buddha. And after all, nothing divine about the words in Buddhism. Okay? So that any words, any expressions, if they are useful in guiding us to the truth that is beyond the words, the ultimate truth. So here I'm talking, these words are created in India, China, Japan. They came up with new ideas like Hongan, Amida Buddha. So it's permissible in Mahayana, but in the Christian tradition, you are not allowed to change the Jesus' teaching, because Jesus was divine, Bible was divine. It cannot be changed. See, Christianity has this kind of rigidity about these scriptures, but Buddhism doesn't have it. See? Any ideas, concepts are okay if they guide us to the Dharma that is beyond the words. See? So it doesn't matter, whether these words are ancient or made in Middle Age or in the present day America. Doesn't matter. That's okay if they are useful in guiding us to the ultimate truth beyond the words. See, all of these are the valid, authentic Buddhist words. See, so in Buddhist tradition, we are free to create any new ideas, and if those ideas could guide us to the truth that is beyond the words. Okay, the ultimate truth, Buddhism, ultimate truth is beyond the words. All our historical teachers, all our historical scriptures are simply designed to guide us to the ultimate truth beyond the word. Okay? So we have tremendous freedom and flexibility. Okay? So the Christianity, you are not allowed to change so-called divine message. Okay? So they say word is, God was, in the beginning was the word was with God, word was God. Okay? So you cannot change it. But in Buddhism, the words are tentative efforts for us, means, expediency. See? So nothing divine about it. See, so this is a Buddhist attitude. So in the Buddhist history, see, they came up with all kinds of teachings. See? Maybe historical Shakyamuni did not talk about Amida Buddha or Hongan. That didn't matter. See? Because after all, Shakyamuni spoke words, and Shakyamuni said, don't rely on these words. See? Rely on the ultimate truth. See? So the Mahayanists knew that. See? Mahayanists came up with all kinds of concepts, Amida Buddha. See? So it's not a divine savior. It is not a divine message. See? These are expediency. If they are useful in guiding us to the ultimate truth that is beyond the word, any expression is okay in Buddhism. See? We could come up with full-fledged Buddhist sutras in American context in this century. See? Actually, that's what we should do. See? So there's some difference between Christian way of understanding literature and the Buddhist way of understanding literature.
Thank you very much.